we are ready to bring in our video and audio files. So while we're going to bring them in, I wanted you to remind again, this is the first menu that we're going to start with. And you see there's this rules right there, or these separations, these screen separations that kind of give you a clear understanding where each menu is. These are the tools right here on top. A lot of times they're on the side, and you're going to see that in a second when I'll bring the media. This is the main menu on top. So when you click under window, again, make sure these are the things that are selected. You don't need all of them at all times, but basically you would need the timeline, you would need tools, you would need the media browser, the markers, effects, essential graphics, audio meters. So just leave them by default. If you ever struggle and you don't know where to find them or which ones they are, just make sure under workspace you go on there, and you can just edit your workspace or leave it as it is by default. Now, let's begin with importing our media. So basically what you have to do is double click inside this menu, and then Premiere is really smart. It's going to ask you, okay, so take me to where your files are. The folder that I have with my audio and video files, it's called the Boxing Story. So basically I'm just going to do Command A to select all of these files. So I have my sound in a folder and my videos are in another folder. I'll hit import. You got to give it enough time to import those files and process them. And then from this menu, I can enlarge it so I can view it a little bit cleaner or in larger size, where I can, it's just easier for me to figure out which file I'm working with. Right underneath this menu, this is an option I want you to pay attention to. So right now, I am in the icon view, where I can literally see the video file that I have imported. If you want to bring them into a list view, you can click there. I rarely work it into a list. Most of the times I have them in icon views, because if I recorded, if I collected the shots, then just by looking at them, I know exactly what I'm working with. So basically what you'd have to do here is scroll through and find out the shots that you need. Now, this is not a story. We're going to come up with a story. So basically, I know that this is a girl here typing on her phone, sending a text message. She's learning how to box, and then there's a guy that's training her. So maybe it's a story of liberation for a woman that maybe she's in an abusive relationship and she wants to get out. So this is what I'm going to begin with. I'll double click on this shot, and when I double click on that, you see how it pops up in this menu, in the editing menu on top. You see we're under edit right now. So here there are two things for you to remember, or basically a couple of them, but two that are basic. These mark in point and the mark out point. The mark in point allows you to scroll through and mark in or start your shot, and then scroll, mark out to finish that shot. Now you have a couple of options here. One, you can drag video only, you can drag audio only, or you can drag both of them together. How do you do that? You see these two buttons under the video. The first one, it says drag video only. The next to it, the one next to it, is drag audio only. But since this shot doesn't have any audio attached to it, obviously I don't need to drag the audio. So I'm just going to drag the video. How do I do that? You click, drag, let go into your sequence. And when you do, check it out. You see how my sequence now is giving me a list of video files, V1, V2, V3, and then a list of audio files, A1, A2, A3. But just a second ago, I told you that we are only bringing in the video. We're not bringing in any audios. So now I'm going to bring up, and I'll have her texting, meaning that, okay, this first shot right here, you see within my sequence, one very important angle here. Anytime you need to access a menu, make sure this is active or selected. You see now I click there, this menu is active, so now I can make edits in that menu. Here, this menu is active. Here, this one, you see this blue box around it, it means it's active and I can make changes, or I can work in that menu option. It's almost like you're working on 4 different pages at the same time. So now I double clicked on this file, it popped up in my editing mode. I'm gonna scroll through I'll find the mark in point, and then I'll scroll through, find the mark out point. And then this one, it looks like I have both video and audio. So just for the sake of showing you how it works, I'll only drag the audio, and you place it under an audio track. You can only drag the video right there, or you can drag both of them together. If you need to drag both together, you bring your cursor on the top of the video. So you click, drag, let go. Now check out the difference. This is what I wanted you to see. When you drag them separately, audio, you see is separate from video. But when you drag them together, they're linked together. You see I clicked on the video, and both of them were selected. I click on audio and both are selected. If at any point you want to unselect video from audio, then do right click and scroll through and find unlink. So you're unlinking them, and now you can work with them individually. Okay, now I don't need any of these files, so what I'm going to do is I will select them, click, drag, select, and hit delete. They're gone. So now I'm only again going to bring in the video only, and I'm going to place it there. When you zoom in, you see that I have a black spot there, which means it's a long transition. So let's play what we have. Click on spacebar. There's the long transition, and there it goes into the second shot right there. If I need to get rid of this transition, click on it, right click, ripple delete. So you see what happens here? You get rid of any black spots that you don't need between the sequence by right click and ripple delete. Now let's keep working on, let me make this menu a tiny bit bigger because I don't need my media browser or my bin to be this large. So let's scroll through, and we're going to have a shot of her right there. So again, you can scroll through, you can watch the whole thing, scroll through, and find an angle or a shot that you like. Have the mark in point, scroll, mark out, click, drag, let go. Let's minimize this a tiny bit so I have access there. Click, drag, let go. Now a very important detail here. If you start placing videos in one sequence, let's say in video 1, then make sure you don't place them on top of each other, because if you do, like I just did now, when I pull it away, that part of my previous video bed is gone. So let me do Command Z, and there it goes. Okay, now let's move up and let's have a 2 shot right there where she's boxing with this guy. So let's have it from the intro there, a mark in point, scroll through, a mark out point, click, drag, let go. Let's scroll through and find something else. So basically, you see I'm repeating the same steps several times. Double click on it. Now I want to have a front shot, mark in point, and then mark out. Let's make this smaller. Click, drag, let go. There it is. So I'm going to place it side by side there. And then I will have a moment of her finding freedom. So kind of closing that circle that we started in the beginning. Have a mark in point and have a longer of a mark out point. Click, drag, let go. So basically now we should have access to the entire video file that we're going to work with. Now we are going to preview it in this window right here. So I'm going to click and access it, and I'll change 25% to 50. So we can basically see it a little bit in a larger mode. How do I play it? I just click on the play button there, and it starts from the beginning. You see it freezes a little bit now because I have to process the files, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But I'm trying to do a nice job on the storytelling aspect of it. Okay, so you see how it's freezing. And I'll tell you in a second why. Great, I like what I see. I think this last shot at the end is a little too long. So how will I make it a little smaller? I'll just click, drag, and bring it in. Cool. Now, why do you think that video file or the video track is slowing down? Do you see this yellow line on top? That tells me that my videos haven't been rendered. To render your videos, you are going to go to Sequence, scroll through to render in to out. Click right there and give it a second to render or to process all the changes that you have done so far in Premiere. Rendering the files, Premiere will play them as if you were to preview them at the very end of your project. So they're not going to slow or freeze or just look pixelated or bad. Again, you gotta be patient. I told you in the beginning of this unit that Premiere is taking its time since you're working with large size files. Just be patient with it. When it finishes, it's gonna start playing it right away. So let's see what it's gonna do. There it goes. So now you see it starts playing it. There it is. You can preview it, whatever this marker is, that's what previews right here in the top option. Now if you see it's slow because that's what the video is as well. And you can hear how my computer is getting active. It's in slow motion. The video is in slow motion. Okay, let me pause it here, and now I'm going to come back with another video where I will show you how to bring in audio, and then we'll work on a couple more details. Make sure to keep saving your project as often as possible. So I'm just going to do Command S to save these changes. Remember, we gave it a name in the beginning. Just Command S to save it.